I was born in Sinaloa, Mexico, and I am the youngest of 16 siblings. And when I was 2 months old, uh, we moved to Estación Delta, which is about an hour from Mexicali. And I lived there for my first 9 years. Um, I lived there my first 9 years, and I remember some of the stories that we only would had enough money to have maybe beef once a week or once every 2 weeks, but we did have, homemade tortillas, beans, and then there was a man down the street that sells snow cones, and we always wanted that. Oh, we desired it, but we didn't have no money. And it remember costing 1 peso, which at the time in America was 10 cents. And he used to make candies and stuff. So my oldest brother at one time, he came over here as a bracero, and my dad as a bracero. And I don't know the period, the time period of where they would send a little money, and we were allowed to get a snow cone, and the man would say, "Bring you biggest cup." We didn't have a lot of dishes, but we would find the biggest cup, and he would fill it all the way, and we would say, "Okay, I want watermelon, I want vanilla, I want this, different flavors." So we would share the big cup of the snow cones, homemade the snow cones. They were so good. And just, different things. My mom was very giving, even though we did not have a lot of money. She tried to give a little bit that she had, beans or tortillas to people. I remember there was one time that there's some Indians came from the top of some hills. I can't remember, but they didn't speak Spanish. They had their own dialect, and they didn't have no clothes. And by our house, maybe less than half a block, there was a big tree, just huge tree like this, just hanging by the canal. And they were all hiding right there. They had kids. There was men and women. I want to say there was about 10 people.
You just said, Mom, can you stop?
Indians.
But the Indians. And my mom just started grabbing some clothes. Well, we didn't have a lot, but because we would just have 2 dresses or, 1 pair of shoes or so. But whatever clothes she could find, she went and told them to get some clothes on. And then she gave them some shoes, but they could not walk with shoes because they were walking barefooted. And it was in the summer, I remember. I must have been about 7, and the street, it was like sandy, and it was really, really hot. And I mean, they're just walking, and I don't know where they went. All that family.
Oh.
But different. Everybody was just,
Giving, sharing.
Yeah, well, yeah.
In that area, just like where you lived.
Yeah,
Like, well, even you said that guy who did the snow cones. I mean, he wanted you guys to have your biggest cup, and he would charge you the same.
Yeah, well, he would give us a lot more. And he, because he had a little business, he had more money, like, because there were not a lot of rich people. There was only one rich family, which is the parents of Jorge, that doctor. That was the people that had lands of cotton, and then they had their homes. And I remember when the television came, when it was black and white, they were the first ones that got a television. And then they had a panaderia, which is a bakery, tortilleria, where they make tortillas and all that stuff, and a pharmacy. And all of her kids, would be being in the medical field. So those were the richest people in that little town. So when they got the TV, I remember they would open the window and tons of people just looking like through the window.
Wow. So, but tell me.
I remember when I was a little girl that my oldest brother and my dad came to America as braceros. They would come and pick up the fruit, and they would be here for a period of time, and then they would send money, and that's when we would get the money to go get a snow cone, because there was I think it was about 7 houses from my house that used to make homemade snow cones and candy and all that stuff. So he would say, bring the biggest cup to get your snow cones. So I would take it, and they would say, oh, I want vanilla, I want watermelon, and he would put all the flavors, and I would take it home and we would share the snow cone.
And that's not what made you want to come to America though, right? That's like your brothers being there is not what made you want to come to America. You already wanted to come, right?
Well, coming to America was my mom's wanting us to better ourselves. So she always, in her mind, when she told us that when she was in Sinaloa, that she always wanted to come to America, that we can have a better life than she had. So then she started looking for a school permits, and I remember going into Tijuana to get those school permits, and we would go so early at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, get in line to get those permits, and then we came to America. I was 9 years old.
From the school permit.
Yeah.
And what did you do in America when you got here?
Okay, I had a sister that lived here, because you had to have a family member already living here that it was going to take care of you, because you could not get any government help at all. You had to have somebody that was going to take care of you with everything. So she was married. She married a soldier, and so we lived with her, and we went to school here, and of course it was a better life. It was a better life for us, better than Mexico.
Yeah. And then, so did you, after you went to school here, then you told me you would work in like the field and stuff, right?
Yes. And on the weekends, on Saturday and Sunday, we would go work in the fields. I picked potatoes, onions, tomatoes, but I remember picking up potatoes and onions because we would have to put a belt right here, and it had hooks on the side and 2 in the front. So we would get our bags and put them in the front, and we would just bend over and just picking up, potatoes, and then put them to the side, and then there would come a trailer and pick up all the bags. But it was hard. It was a lot of work, but we wanted to, because we can get a little bit of, buy clothes and stuff. But there was even times that I could not even afford the lunches in the school, and at that time was 25 cents for the lunches. But I remember being with one of the teachers, Mrs. Rice, and they would ask, who wants to work in the cafeteria this week? I would raise my hand right away, because I wanted to have my lunch, but I would take lunches, and my mom would make burritos in a paper sack. But I was embarrassed to eat the burritos, so I would put the paper sack and eat it like this, to cover the burrito. So then the kids, what do you have there? A burrito? You want to trade? So I was trading burritos to get the lunch because they were good lunches back then.
Why were you embarrassed? Because the burrito.
Because everybody was
Eating sandwiches and stuff?
no, everybody was buying lunch and I couldn't
Oh, so you
afford
had
it.
to bring the lunch. That's why you're embarrassed because you had to bring it.
Yeah, I would have to bring a burrito.
So so you just went through high school, right? You and you worked at the restaurant too, right?
Yes, and then when I turned 16, my two sisters opened a restaurant, and I went and I started working as a waitress.
And
Yeah.
so, I mean, that's when you met. Keep videoing. It's fine. It's fine. That's when you met Papa, right? When you were working at the restaurant. Tell
Yeah.
about that, and then. Yeah, just tell me about that.
Yeah. So I was working at my sister's restaurant. I was 16, but I was not 16 when I met Papa. I was almost 18. Because see, we went to high school together, we went to junior high together, we went to elementary together, but we didn't know each other. So when they opened the restaurant, Papa came in and he says he fell in love with me. At first sight, he said.
Yeah, wouldn't he come with his girlfriend?
Yeah, he used to come with his girlfriend and they used to get upset and they leave. And then one time he just got he says, okay, I'm gonna ask her out. I guess he had a bet with some of the guys. He says, there's a girl at the Restaurant Taquito House, and I'm gonna take her out. Well, his friends, I knew his friends, and I did not like him. Because when I was a little young girl going to school, they would follow me, and because I had a long ponytail, and they would pull my ponytail. So I did not like none of his friends. He says, oh no, she's not gonna go out with. We've been trying, and she's not gonna go. She's not gonna go. I guess he was going to a homecoming game in Elsinore. I think it was Larry, I can't remember. That's his cousin. He said, you know what, I gotta go ask this girl out. He was already going there for months and months. He would go and buy a Pepsi and a taco. That he got so sick, he got a rash because he was drinking a lot of soda. Because he would be going every day, 7 days a week. So I think he waited until there was no other waitresses or waiters, and I was the only one. He comes to the counter, and I remember being in the back doing some stuff, and then Amalia or Esther says, oh, there's a young man here who wants to order. So I go and get my paper and stuff, and can I help you? And he says, I want 500 tacos and a date with you. And I said, I'm not here to play around with. What do you want? And he goes, I don't want 500 tacos, but I sure want a date with you. And I left, and I went back to the back to do what I was doing. And I can't remember Esther or Amalia said, the young man's still here. He's still here. What does he want? I said, he's crazy, he wants a day out. And Esther says, oh, that's a good young man. He's a hard worker. You should go. You should go. I don't want to go. I said, you go. I don't want to go. And Amalia says, and he's a good looking guy too. I said, I don't want to go. So, just go. I said, who's going to waitress? Esther says, I'll waitress. That's mine. So, I never gone with nobody by myself.